All right. Hello and welcome to the Smart Chiropractor Show. It is Tuesday. I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch, part of the Smart Chiropractor team. And we are kicking off a new year. Believe it or not, it's 2022, our first show of the year. We have a fantastic show lined up. We're talking mindset, clinical conversations, weekly marketing campaigns, marketing strategy, building practice success, and much more, all on today's episode. Jason, how are you doing as we're kicking off 2022?
I'm feeling a little surreal that, I'm trying to make sense. On one hand, I'm like 22. That's a very lucky number, depending on where you come from and so on. 2020, I don't know, brings back some crazy memories. So I'm trying to look at the positive side. 2022, tons of opportunity. It's very surreal in today's day and age if you're paying attention to anything. On one hand, my optimism gets the best of me and says it's all going to work out. It's all going to be just fine. But the reality is we are in some crazy times, and it's just hard to ignore it. And that is actually what has inspired me over this holiday. Personally, if you're asking how am I doing, I spent a lot of the last few weeks really taking some self-inventory as to, what do I want this year to look like? What is in it for me? What contribution do I want to make? What do I want to be a part of? If I were to do one thing with my life, what would be the most important thing? And the truth of the matter is, the conclusion I came through all the New Year's, holiday, end of year stuff that we all do, is that the work we're doing right here, right now is exactly the work I want to be doing right here, right now. And I have plenty of choices. This is my choice. And with that, I'm just really honored to be here. We got some new technology going on here. We got a lot of things going on behind the scenes for rapid growth for us and for you in 2022. So that's a long way of saying I am great.
Nice. I love it. I'm going to say one thing before we kick into our mindset segment, and that is something that you brought up. Serving chiropractors at a higher level than ever before is something we're looking forward to this year. We looked back at last year. If you watched the stat video, you might have fallen down. 52 million social impressions, over 350,000 qualified leads, hundreds of thousands of phone calls, clicks, you name it, to our smart chiropractors over the course of 2021. We're looking forward to an even better 2022. But let's talk a little mindset. Jason, we are going to start by talking about a favorite book. In the Smart Chiropractor, each and every year for the last couple of years, we've gone through and done a TSC, Smart Chiropractor Book Club, where we ask for recommendations of what you read the past year so that we can put together and compile a list for what your colleagues should read this year. I released that list earlier today. It's available in the Smart Chiropractor group right now. If you're not in that group, be sure to get over there. But Jason, I wanted to ask you, I'm going to go into maybe a Christmas and Hanukkah past here. What are some of your favorite mindset books of all time? Maybe pick out a few. What are some of the lessons learned? And when you're picking up a book related to mindset, positive thinking, positive mental attitude, what do you look for? A relatively open-ended question, but I'd love to hear you explore your history as someone who is very well read around the subject of favorite books and mindset.
Yeah, that is a great question because I don't normally think of those things. It's like when doctors ask patients, about their history, they're like, oh, I'm fine. And you go, well, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, I actually now realize. So thank you for asking the question. I think my all-time number one favorite mindset book is Think and Grow Rich. And if for no other major reason, then it is really, from my understanding, the book that led to all other success books. It's written by Napoleon Hill, I believe it was in the early 20s, who was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie, I believe it was, who said, I will give you access to all of the wealthiest people on the planet if you will do one thing and one thing only. And that is to document their story of success and create a book, a formula of how the world's wealthiest, most powerful, most influential people became that way. And so Napoleon Hill, I believe, took 20 some odd years interviewing, I believe it was 500 or so of the world's most famous wealthy people, and put together the masterpiece, Think and Grow Rich. And I think that the number one takeaway for me from reading that book is really, I'll say two things. One, if you can't not read anecdote after anecdote after anecdote, or in normal English, story after story after story about real people, real struggles, real situations, and how using their mind and following the formulas of the Think and Grow Rich chapters, that the world's wealthiest people have become the world's wealthiest people. And, it really taught me how most of the world, even today, or especially today, simply has the whole concept of success backwards. I'll summarize it by saying, just the easiest way I can repeat it, is that most of the world thinks in reverse cause and effect. When I have the money, then I'll be generous and happy. And what the book tries to suggest to you is that when you're generous and happy, you will attract money. And the hard part, the X factor between it all, for those cynics and critics who go, well, wait a minute, yesterday I was generous and happy. How come I'm not one of the richest people in the world? Well, that's where the magic happens. And that's what reading the book is all about. And that's really what each and every one of our individual life's journey is all about. But that book really opened my eyes to the unlimited possibilities. Later on, reading people like Tony Robbins or Deepak Chopra or Joe Dispenza, or many of these others who have sort of taken that idea that started on, whether you want to call it quantum physics, some people even call it chiropractic philosophy. Some other people will call it, other types of ways of describing that there is something bigger than just the physical universe between what you see. That your mindset matters, your intention matters, your ability to help other people get what they want matters, as Dale Carnegie would say in the world's #1 best-selling book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The best way to get what you want in life is to help other people get what they want in life. So my top book, if I had to pick one, I don't want to just pick one, but if I had to, it would be Think and Grow Rich.
Jason, that is an absolute classic. I couldn't agree more. It's distilled down now. You could probably pick it up for like $8 at this point in time on Amazon because it's been in print so long. There's so many of them out there. You can probably get it used for 99 cents. And you look at that and you say, this is, probably price adjusted, hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of, commerce, revenue, knowledge, distilled down, to $8, $5, whatever it might be. So if you have not,
I think it's actually public domain. I actually think you can get the book online for free. Just
there you go. Even better. So we'll drop a link down below as well. So Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you have not checked out that book, please be sure to do so. I think this maybe should be a reoccurring segment because I think there's a lot that we could dive into. This is the segment that we take each and every week and we devote to clinical conversations in and around your practice. So quite often we have special guests come in, either pre-recorded or live, and chat about items that are related to the clinical application of practice in and around your practice. Sometimes that's related directly to the care you deliver with your hands and the adjustment. Other times it's new technologies. Sometimes we look at established modalities and we look at emerging science as well. And that's where we're going today. We had our friend Dr. Alyson Evans over at Fringe. She put together a CBD course, and there is so much emerging science in this area. We're going to share a few minutes from the 1-hour course that she shared with us exclusively to give you a little taste of what they're up to at Fringe, where they're going, and maybe plant some seeds in your mind about items you might be able to incorporate into your practice today, tomorrow, or in the future to help your patients live a better life. So without further ado, I'm going to click over. We'll watch a few minutes of a presentation all around CBD science. Science with Dr. Alyson Evans.
Hi, everybody. My name's Alyson. I'm one of the founders of Fringe and looking forward to spending some time with you today and going through some education. So people have asked us about the name Fringe, which means a lot to all of us. The team at Fringe, we love our name. We love what it stands for. And I think when I first started looking into making a company and what mattered to me was that we would embrace the unconventional, that we would embrace people that had different beliefs and different ideas and welcome them all in and learn from them. And I think something that has been fun as Fringe has launched and people have gotten to know our brand is that I think people identify more with being on the fringe than they do in being in the center or the mainstream of something. So we have greatly appreciated everybody's feedback about our name, and really it's about being inclusive and having everybody be welcome to what we're learning, what we know, what we don't know, and being willing to have differing opinions and to honor those and learn from them. So I think the most important aspect of Fringe for all of us, if you take anyone on our team, it's that being healthy has become complicated, and that what we have done for thousands and thousands of years that we know feels good for us is within us and around us, and it is actually very powerful medicine. And we've dismissed a lot of these very simplistic aspects of health to the side, and our job at Fringe is to bring science and validity to simple aspects of medicine. And there's a reason for this. Today in 2021, we are not feeling as well as we should. As a population in the US, as a population worldwide, as myself sitting here in this chair, as my family in my home, my community, we could be feeling better. And this has definitely been a hard past couple of years. But even prior to the changes we've had as a society in 2020 and 2021, we collectively are hurting. There is a lot of people in pain. And I think it's interesting when I'm presented with statistics about 50 million Americans have some form of chronic pain, I personally can't visualize how many people that is. But I think of it this way. I think of if I encounter 10, 15 people in my day, 5 of them have chronic pain. 6 of them have chronic pain. 10 of them have chronic pain. However many people I encounter, it's trying to have empathy and sympathy for what people are going through. And so our pain statistics are not good. We are heavily medicating for pain and as well for sleep. I just read the other day that every 19 minutes, somebody dies from a prescription drug overdose every 19 minutes in the United States of America, which was a sobering statistic for me to read because I can't comprehend 15 million people, but I know what 19 minutes is, and I know what one person is, and I know the value of one life. So our sleep statistics, oh man, before COVID, 50 to 70 million adults had some form of a diagnosed sleep disorder. I'm pretty sure I have an undiagnosed sleep disorder. So I don't even know how many people actually struggle with having a restful night's sleep in which they wake up feeling recovered. And sleep is something that is also very heavily medicated in the United States and worldwide as well. When it comes to mental health, we talk a lot about anxiety, stress, depression, and I think anxiety has become something that is more prevalent over the past couple of years. It's approximately 40 million people in the United States that know that they suffer from anxiety, and I can't imagine how many people have symptoms of anxiety that they just don't actually know what it is. Racing heart, feeling, panicked, worried about the future, those sorts of things. So mental health is is a huge topic, and it almost feels like we're in a shift right now where talking about mental health is going to be something that really changes the prior slides, which is talking about pain and sleep. These three topics for us at Fringe are where we're focusing our attention to try and exert the most help. They're common, so common for all of us. And the thing is, they are a part of us. We need to experience pain. It's how we've evolved. It's a very important signal for us. We need to sleep. And having stress in our life is something that is never going to be away. In a way, it's needed for our growth. So we are focusing our conversations around pain, sleep, and stress, and really trying to see how the aspects of medicine that we have pushed to the outside, how we can start actually making an effect on people suffering from pain, sleep, and stress, sleep problems and stress in their lives. So for us, this is an opportunity. And it gives us an area to focus on. Of course, there's many other health issues that people are facing, but I think these ones are the ones that plague people and affect them, hour by hour, minute by minute, day by day, and really affects their quality of life. So a big opportunity for us. When we look at how everybody is treated, if I have pain, I have a very isolated approach in today's healthcare model. So if I have pain, I go to the doctor runs some tests. They may send me for additional tests, blood work, maybe it might be imaging, whatever. And then I will typically go and see someone who actively focuses on fixing that pain. Most commonly, people are prescribed medication for their pain. But I think the most important thing is, if I'm suffering from pain, very few people ask how I'm sleeping, ask how I'm managing my stress, and having any problems with anxiety, depression, that sort of thing. Connecting essentially the dots, they keep us in a very isolated system when it comes to looking at pain.
All right. And that is Dr. Alyson Evans over at joinfringe.com talking about some of the challenges that are endemic to what's going on with all of us today. If you'd love to see somebody on our clinical conversation segment, we're going to encourage you to reach out to us, comment down below, let us know. We're trying to bring interesting, unique points of view to our clinical conversations, which is a segment we have each and every week on the Smart Chiropractor Show, which is going on right now. Jason, what are some of your thoughts regarding Alyson's either presentation or just some of the stats that she laid out there?
I think Alyson is a great example of somebody who's taking something that is ubiquitous everywhere and presenting it in a really creative, unique way. And if nothing else, that is a great example for us to sort of learn from and model after. I don't think there's any chiropractor that would probably go, oh, CBD? That's new. Never heard of that before. But the way it's presented, the way it's packaged, from the branding to the typeface to the packaging to the style of, consumption, drinking it, wiping it on as a lotion. There are such creative ways of breaking through the noise and attracting your type of people. And what I love so much about Alyson's presentation and project is that, I always appreciated the saying, let your freak flag fly, that you will attract your type of crazy. And I'm not sure if there's any better word than referring to yourself as fringe, to let everybody in the world know that I'm okay with being different, not like everyone else. And I just love that. I love the concept of that. I love her bravery to invest her time, energy, and money in taking an idea, turning it into something, let alone turning it into something successful. I'll also comment, because these details matter, I hope, to our viewers. If they don't, they should. The quality of what Alyson put together was just phenomenal. Just the camera work, the background, everything was set in the back perfectly. Everything matters. I ask Apple Computer, Steve Jobs would say it often, these are throwaway taglines and slogans, and yet they are the details and foundations and fundamentals of what works best and what works to be the best. So I'm in awe, enamored, impressed with what she's putting together. I'll clarify for anybody who may not know me well enough to know my intentions. This is not because I think every chiropractor needs to do less chiropractic and more CBD or any other product. Nothing could be farther from the truth. I do think that we need to learn from those people. They're doing super creative things, ways in which to present something normal as something different, and build a successful business and audience and following and subscription business, which is everything we're talking about this year. She's a perfect example of it, and I love what she's doing.
I could not agree more. There's so many levels to that, so much more to dive into as the weeks unfold in 2022. Clinical conversations happen each and every week on the Smart Chiropractor Show, which is what you are watching right now. Research That Matters is where we take a few moments and dive a little bit deeper into the weekly topic that our Smart Chiropractor members are getting out there and talking about, teaching and inviting with this week. If you've been following what we've been doing at the Smart Chiropractor, you know our core philosophy is teach and invite consistently. Teach, get out there, showcase something engaging, showcase the benefits of what you do for the people in and around your audience. Invite, that's your call to action. That might be scheduling an appointment, commenting below, sharing, whatever it might be, and then doing it consistently. Consistency is the number one predictor of success when marketing. How we implement that is through monthly campaigns, weekly topics, and daily posts. Our monthly campaign, since it's January of 2022, is all around kickstarting the year, getting off to a great start. And our weekly topic is 3 steps to go from exhausted to energized. We all know people come out of the holidays exhausted. Why? A lot because of the choices that they make during that time. And this week is a fantastic opportunity to reinforce those individuals that are taking action and getting out there, and giving them that little bit of a push, showcasing some positive benefits that not only your care, but your expertise can offer them to keep them on that right trajectory. I saw a post, really, been going the rounds on social media, and I thought it was great. And it was, hey, I'm paraphrasing, but there's going to be a lot of people in the gym, don't get bummed out at those individuals that don't know what they're doing, but support them so they show up again tomorrow. And I think that really is the core essence of this weekly topic for our Smart Chiropractor members, is encouraging the healthy behaviors for those that have decided to take a next step, so they take the step after that. And also providing a little inspiration for those that haven't made that decision yet. And when we think about these 3 steps, Jason, we're talking about daily movement and exercise, getting that sleep schedule right, and eating right. To me, these are core tenets of who we are and what we do as chiropractors. What are some of your thoughts on our weekly topic that our hundreds of Smart Chiropractors are delivering currently to millions of people around the world?
Again, this is another kind of example of what we talked about in the last segment, of taking something that appears to be just normal, like, okay, many chiropractors tell their patients every single day, better sleep right, better exercise, better get better rest, better eat right. And yet, is anybody listening? How do you know what to say, when to say it, and so on? So what I love, about this topic is not that it's some revolutionary idea. It's a common sense idea. We have to admit that. But what I love about it, and where I think a lot of chiropractors are sort of, I've heard the saying, man walks down the pathway, trips and falls, stumbles over the truth, picks himself up and keeps on walking, because they're looking for something magical. And the magic is, how do you make the normal seem exciting? Not to embellish it, but to, in fact, recognize that certain things like, hey, you know what? You should be eating better. You should be getting better sleep. You should be exercising more, can actually penetrate the noise and reach people at the right time to take the right actions. And because this is the first and second week of the new year, this happens to be the perfect time to have this type of conversation. So kudos to the team. We got the right message at the right time. But just to take a step back, I know we might have some new viewers watching live and watching in the future going, what in the world are you talking about? This is all in the context of the Smart Chiropractor's 12-month curriculum with 12 monthly campaigns, January, February, March, April, etc., with weekly topics in between, in each month. So 12 campaigns, 4 weekly topics per campaign, and daily posts. That's the curriculum that frees up chiropractors to stop suffering paralysis by analysis, wondering, what am I going to say? Where am I going to research it? How am I going to not look stupid saying it? Do I know that there's any science behind what I'm saying? And all of the many legitimate questions chiropractors have that prevent them from either doing anything on social or prevent them from doing it with pride, with consistency. Because if you're not proud of your work, you'll be hesitant and not so proud to promote it. And then you'll say things like, oh, I tried social media, it doesn't work. Well, in many cases, it's not that it doesn't work, it's that we don't know how to work it. Because if there's anyone online, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, if there's anyone building an audience and offering them something that is of value to their audience, that can generate a living for that person, if there's anybody who's out there doing it, then the question, of course, is why can't you? And guess what? There are thousands of people, probably tens of thousands of people, doing exactly what we're talking about. So it has, as in social media, email, digital marketing, has the potential to earn people hundreds, thousands, millions, tens of millions of dollars every year if you know how to use it right. And so I know that's sort of a high-level view of your initial question. It's the right topic at the right time, and it is part of this entire 12-month 2022 curriculum. This is week 1, I guess we still are, January 4th. This is week 1, and this is an example of what we're going to be building on the next 52 weeks. The right thing at the right time in the right place that looks right, that is scientifically valid and resourced and is automatically posted for you and gives you the talking points, the bullet points for you to be able to take that baton and have great conversations in your practice day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, as easy as possible. So great topic, great choice. Thanks for bringing it up. Seems so obvious. Of course, everybody has to eat well, move well, etc. We know people who have said that and trademarked it, but that doesn't mean that your patients are understanding it. And just saying the same thing every day, all year long, because that's what you want to say, is not the same thing as making sure that your audience hears what they need to hear at the time that's right for them so that they can take the right action. So I think it was a great topic. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
You're 100% right. It's really about meeting your current patients, future patients, active patients, wherever they're at, and really showcasing the benefits of what you can provide, not the features. And that's something, we've talked about and we'll talk about again, certainly as these episodes and weeks go on. And this really is where Teach and Invite lives. When we talk about those 3 steps to go from exhausted to energized, that's consumer speak. That's so that your patients can understand. It's not science speak in the headline. That's supposed to be an attention grabber. That's why we have fantastic email open rates, and a lot of people are checking out the content that we put out for our members, is because we really package it in a way that's consumable for people. As you mentioned, Jason, timing is everything in life, and there's no exceptions with marketing. So kicking things off and having a nice January monthly campaign that showcases ways people can be healthier throughout the year is just great timing. Positioning your office, open some new eyeballs, get some people inspired and motivated, and inevitably that comes back to you in practice. And when we look at daily exercise, getting a sleep schedule on track, and eating right, again, I think of these as core tenets within chiropractic. If somebody's unable to exercise due to movement issues, well, who better than a chiropractor to assess those issues and take care of those issues? If we talk about sleep schedules and people are having difficulty due to physical, mental stressors that's disrupting their sleep schedule, who better than a chiropractor to at least start that conversation and provide some help? And eating right as well. I don't think that you necessarily, as a chiropractor, need to be a nutritional expert and guru to showcase some really practical ways that are second nature to us, but revolutionary to so many people that you take care of. And also, I'm going to say, don't be fooled by physique. Sometimes we see people that look as though they're eating correctly, and man, they have the worst dietary habits out there. So, starting these conversations is really a great way to stay top of mind, to teach and invite consistently. And there's just so many false beliefs, around this with chiropractors. Oh, to get new patients in my practice, I have to spend money on Facebook and Google ads, or to retain patients, that's about convincing, or, to get reactivations going on, I probably need a really big email list. And the truth of all of this is that you can really, increase your new patients, you can improve your active care retention, and you can have a nice flywheel and consistent stream of reactivations without spending a ton of money, or any money in some cases, on Google or Facebook ads. You can do it without convincing anybody of anything, but guiding people towards better health. And you definitely can get that reactivation flywheel going with a small list when you teach and invite consistently. But none of it's going to happen on its own. Those results follow those small action steps you take. I can say over the last 30 days or so, we had over 50 docs come on board, almost 60 docs now come on board, take an action step to utilize the Smart Chiropractor to decrease the stress and strain on themselves and their practice and their team, and really have our team of experts hop in and do all of this in an automated fashion through those high-power channels, email, social, video streaming, you name it. It's all part of who we are and what we do. It's in our DNA as the Smart Chiropractor, but it ties together with all of this. As your patients are kickstarting their year, your practice is kickstarting its year. So what are those actions that you intend on taking so that you can have a better or a different result as you look back, to today, 12 months from now? So Jason, before we hop over to our member spotlight, I have a sneaking suspicion you might have a few comments on some of those points.
I do. You're 1,000% right. I appreciate the mind meld we've got together each and every week. It's a beautiful thing. What you were alluding to, for those people who just sort of picked up on a few words, I want to make sure that there is what we refer to, which we created as the smart patient journey. That one of the things that smart chiropractors are doing is understanding that who you speak to and when you speak to them matters. That what you say to the person in the 3 different phases of being a patient, in the initial, what's the word I'm looking for? A potential patient is phase 1, active patient is phase 2, and proactive patient is phase 3. So the curriculums we're talking about allow you to think of it as translate. The way you speak to a new potential, remember back in the dating scene. If you're no longer in it, remember back. If you're in it, think of last night. There is a process as to how you speak to who you're talking to. If you're looking at somebody who's a potential relationship, you probably wouldn't speak to them the same way as if you were with somebody who you're looking to reactivate in a relationship, or somebody who you're already in a relationship with. And yet, we just think, teach people about chiropractic. Teach people about chiropractic. Doesn't matter if they're a prospective, doesn't matter if they're active, doesn't matter if they fell out of care and we're trying to reactivate them. We just put it all out there, hoping somewhere, somehow, something's going to stick to the wall. And smart chiropractors are starting to understand and dig deeper into the nuances, into the sort of academics, into the sort of depth of how do we get better? Maybe in chiropractic terms, I'll refer to it as more specific in your use of words and language to get the right message to the right people at the right time, so that you can articulate, if I'm speaking to a prospective patient who's never been to my practice, who I have no experience with, has no experience with me, doesn't really know what I do, why I do it, except for their preconceived notions of what a chiropractor does, your consumer language we talked about here might just be the perfect thing to have them go, I am exhausted. I'd like to be energized. I get what you're talking about. That makes sense to me. Sign me up. Where do I get more? But if you're reactivating them because they are in the proactive stage, as in they've been through your active care plan, and now for whatever reason they've reached their pain relief goals and now have the ability to be proactive with their health because they're no longer symptomatic. These are the different phases that we're breaking them down to. Again, prospective, active. Active is all your active patients that are actively in care right now. You talk to them differently than those people that stopped care for whoever knows what reason and got out of care. That your words, you want to call it reactivate. And our words, we want to teach them how to be a proactive new patient. So if you want to understand more of what Jeff is talking about, then keep your eyes and ears open for the new Smart Patient Journey. Understand the different phases of care. No different than getting really good at adjusting. You can pop and pray. I understand. That's it. People do it. In fact, most people probably do it. But the question is, when it comes to chiropractic care, are you the kind of chiropractor that's just going to wing it, hope for the best? Hey, it works. Everybody does it this way. Or are you the kind of smart chiropractor that really wants to understand, how do I deliver my best? How do I put in the work, put in the effort to show up as the best me that I possibly can to serve the right people at the right place at the right time? The more specific you get, the more confident you get in your language, the more you will be in control of who you attract and who you accept and how you are able to run your practice with pride and profit. So I love where you went there. Thanks for the opportunity to follow up with that. I know there's a lot of chiropractors who are like, new patient journey? Sure. I meet them. They come in and get well. There's the journey. So we can all look at it in different ways. Our objective is to teach you how to be expert communicators and be able to automate these thoughts, these mindsets into systems that make it easier for you to get better results than you've ever gotten before with less effort and less cost, less investment than you've ever had before. And it all starts here with the right mindset. And if you want to know proof of what I'm talking about, think of those patients who come in and they're spending thousands of dollars on drugs and surgeries and doctors and follow-ups and all the collateral damage for not listening to you years ago, that then they've got new problems from their problems. They spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and here you come along and go, if you look at it just a little bit differently, you would change your life and you would not have to spend the time, the money, the energy on all that superfluous stuff that most people think is the only way. That's the way we see it. So I think the journey is an important thing for doctors to study, and those that do are going to find themselves getting remarkable results.
I could not agree more. Maybe next week will be a good opportunity to really showcase, and we'll show a graphic about that journey. But today, let's see this in action. Let's look at a member highlight. This is Dr. Jason Cardinali out at Proactive Chiropractic Center, of all names. And this is Teach and Invite in action. This segment of our show is where we highlight one of our Smart Chiropractor members that we believe and see is doing a fantastic job getting out there and utilizing the strategies involved with the Smart Chiropractor. And Jason has been a member for a long time. He is an exceptionally active member with the Smart Chiropractor. This is a man, as you'll see momentarily, who's not afraid to teach and invite consistently, and he does a fantastic job doing so. So without further ado, let's take a few minutes. We'll look at Dr. Jason Cardinali actively teaching and inviting on his Facebook channel. Then stay tuned, because Jason and I will be back to talk it down and showcase some tips and strategies for you to take what we show, put it into action in your practice today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Cardinali with Dr. C TV. Today, we're going to talk about the 2 most common disc problems that I see in my office every day. If you've ever had a spinal disc problem, you know how painful it can be. Every single movement hurts, and it can feel like you'll never be back to your old self again. That pain is your body's way of saying, pay attention to me now. It's a warning sign. It's your body's way of letting you know that it has been pushed past its limits. However, with proper care and a little time, you can get your life back. The most common type of spinal disc problem is called a bulge or herniation. And these injuries most commonly occur between 45 and 65 years of age, when discs are naturally more dehydrated and stiffer. A disc bulge or herniation occurs when the inner portion of the disc is trying to push out, or it has pushed out or pushed through the outer layer, that fibrous layer. When this happens, it can cause pain in two different ways. If the disc bulges and it pushes on a spinal nerve, you may notice that you have pain that travels down your arms or your legs. If the inside of the disc simply just pushes through that fibrous outer layer, this can cause inflammation in that region, resulting in significant pain. The good news is that your spine is incredibly resilient. Research has proven that movement-based care, such as spinal adjustments and spinal rehab, are incredibly effective at helping you heal from spinal disc injuries. In fact, exercises that centralize your spinal disc may be able to prevent future episodes of sciatica. If you have spinal pain or pain that travels down an arm or a leg, call your chiropractor. Chiropractic practices all over are using the latest research-based treatments to help you heal, improve, and regain your quality of life. Well, that does it for another episode of Dr. C TV. I'm Dr. Jason Cardinali, and I'll see you next time.
There we go, Dr. CTV. Jason Cardinali, Smart Chiropractor member, long-term Smart Chiropractor member, getting out there and teaching and inviting consistently. That is a fantastic example of what we talk about every week on the Smart Chiropractor show. He's taken the video scripts that we provided him. That was a weekly topic from earlier in 2021, and that is him going through that script. Now, a couple things to point out with Jason. He's got obviously a magnetic personality, but you do not need to be a hyper extrovert to shoot and connect and have a fantastic video. This was just an example of somebody that's doing it at a very high level. I can tell you, when I first started watching Jason's videos, it took him a little while to build up to that. He started just like all of us do with his first video. And, after many videos, you can see how, like an adjustment, hopping on and shooting video is a skill. And the more that you do it, the better you'll get, the more refined and comfortable you'll become, and the better results you'll get out of that time. So that's the beauty of the Smart Chiropractor, is our videos, as you could see, that's not a 27-minute script and he's trying to, recite, a Leonardo DiCaprio movie or anything to that effect. It's a couple minutes that gives him the opportunity to break down the bottom line, why it matters, the next steps. This is what we talk about internally and how we showcase it, with a nice call to action at the end. A classic and fantastic example of teach and invite. Jason, what were some of your thoughts?
You really said it, and I think he's a perfect example. And this is, I'll say, one of our dreams. I sort of kvel with joy watching our clients take the baby and grow it and run with it, so to speak, share it with other people. That is exactly our goal. Jason's doing a fantastic job. You said it, and I hope everybody's hearing it really clearly. Nobody does their best work on the first try. It just doesn't happen that way. So the only way to get to a best video is to put in the reps and keep on improving. And you said it perfectly. Just like adjusting. Any chiropractor I can imagine would know that your first attempt at an adjustment is hopefully not anywhere close to as good as if you've done it for a little while with some professional guidance, especially. So that's the journey. And, I think it's actually an interesting time to sort of, bring up perhaps the controversial point, at least from my perspective, that in today's day and age, in 2022, you have to ask yourself, what are the necessary skills that you need in order to thrive in practice? And there's no question, I think it would be hopefully undeniable to argue that great adjusting skills would be one of those top skills that you absolutely have to have. Can't argue with that one bit. But I will make the controversial claim that if you're not a great communicator who understands how to use digital technology to communicate, that it's going to be far more difficult to earn people's attention, to invite them to want to come in for those wonderful adjustments you're so great at being able to deliver. So I believe that your communication skill, and I don't just mean I can use words, I can talk, I mean your ability to get your message out to your audience, your network, and grow your network over time using these technologies, which have broad appeal and very low cost and extremely easy use. These are the skill sets that smart chiropractors, successful chiropractors, thriving chiropractors in 2022 are going to refine those skills, hone in those skills, and start really learning to understand, got it. This is an essential thing that needs to happen in my practice. Now, should I be doing this? Should I be outsourcing this to a company? Should I be delegating this to my staff? Should I be asking my kids or other people I know who happen to be good at social media because they're on it all the time? Like, how do I think about, implementing, or how do I think about refining my own skills and practice this year? That's what this journey with the Smart Chiropractor, this 2022 is going to be all about, is understanding the big picture, what's the goal, and then breaking down how to get from where you are to where you want to be step by step, with the both mindset, why to do it, and the how, the technology and the steps, and even, as you said, the scripts and the logical steps of what you need to do in order to be able to make it easy and sustainable. You mentioned over and over again, and our core philosophy here is the TIC method, TIC, teach and invite consistently. And the operative word to success in that formula is the C word, which is consistency. And if you don't set these programs up in a sustainable way, you will not have the consistency that's necessary in order to succeed over time. So great work, Jason. I'm an admirer. I'm just going to sort of footnote, he's also my favorite testimonial writer. If you search around and want to see what I think to be the best testimonial ever, you'll have to thank Jason Cardinali for that. So I'll thank Jason for that. Jason, thank you. I'll thank you over and over again. It was awesome. Jeff, those are my thoughts on it.
Awesome. And if you are a Smart Chiropractor member and you'd love to be featured as a member highlight, drop a link down below. We're happy to showcase you to thousands of docs through all of our social channels, where we are streaming live each and every week, and then our YouTube channel as well, which is growing rapidly. So we are going to move now to our next segment, which is strategic marketing. Strategic marketing is really nuts and bolts, blocking and tackling, how to, however you want to say it. We're going to show you some items each and every week during our strategic marketing segment that is really implementation steps, that is really taking what we discussed during mindset, what we discussed during some of our other segments, and putting it into action. And today, if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching over the course of this show, we discussed earlier that we have hundreds of members spread throughout the world, and we had just about 60 new members to Smart Chiropractor come on over the last 30 days. And there are some steps that we're going to encourage all new members to take. And certainly if you are an existing member and you haven't done this step, we're going to encourage you to hop in and do this today, because this is what kickstarts much of your automations. As we talk about automations, you can think about that like automatic. And email marketing is one of the components of the Smart Chiropractor with our Chiro Emails solution that really touches all three phases of your patient journey. It helps convert or guide patients from I don't know who you are to becoming patients in your practice, from a potential patient to an active patient. It also is fantastic to have a new patient onboarding sequence. We build all of this into Chiro Emails for you so that you have improved retention. And then we also have those weekly email newsletters that go out teaching and inviting, so you get those reactivations. As we've discussed, new patient acquisition, retention, and then reactivations being those core pieces of the three phases of the journey. Email touches all three. And I'm going to share screen right now because one of the things that you gotta do if you're a new Smart Chiropractor member is hop over to the members area. I've already logged in right here, but all you have to do is use your login information, which you received from our onboarding team. You're gonna hop into the members area. Up at the tip top, you're going to see a big button that says Get Started. There's a hint there. It's a big orange button because that's where you get started. So when you hover over that, you will see where it says Chiro Email Preferences, where I move my mouse left and right at the top. That is going to be an area you are going to want to be sure to click on. Why? Because the information that you enter one time in about 5 minutes on this page will port over, or it'll automatically fly through the internet over to Chiro emails. And all of the emails that go out are personalized for your practice. So there's a short video of Jason and I there that you can watch. But as you scroll down, I'm just going to show briefly, you're going to fill in your practice name, your practice address, country. You're going to fill in your schedule link. So when people click to your online scheduler or your website, they're going to the right place. That's going to help you improve that reactivations. You're also going to see where you want the emails from. It could be Dr. Jeff at Langmaid Chiropractic or whatever your email address is in your practice. In the email signature, you can even have a space for your name, your picture, and your practice logo. If you have your social channels, you can put those in there. You can fill out as many as applicable. You might not have all of them. No stress. Don't worry about it. Put in what you have. And you even have the option to choose sort of that primary color palette based upon your practice. Once you enter that in, you can click Submit Your Info down at the bottom. And once you click Submit Your Info, what will happen is all of the information that you just put in will go over to Chiro emails. So all of the dozens of templates will have all of this information preloaded into it. Your email newsletters that are going to go out each and every week to generate those consistent reactivations are going to be coming from you with all of your information. If you're using our email pop-up box on your website to get more visitors to become active patients through an email follow-up sequence, those emails also are going to be completely personalized for your practice based upon the information that you put in this panel. So if you're just tuning in, I'll say it one more time. If you are a new Smart Chiropractor member, please head over into the members area. Click on that Get Started tab where it says Chiro Email Preferences. It'll bring you to this screen here. All you have to do is enter in your practice information a single time, and all of it will magically go over. Developer did all the work, but we're going to call it magic. Over to Chiro emails. Everything will be personalized for you, and that not only helps improve the professionalism of the emails that go out, it is going to get you the best results. So if you're a new member, you said, how do I get the best results as quickly as possible? One of the first steps you want to do, head over and enter in those email preferences, because once you do, that enables the automations to get started. The more personalized those emails are, the better result you're going to get. We take care of all the hard work of creating the copy, the subject lines, all of that fun stuff. We take care of it. That's why we're your team behind the scenes, but we need to have your information in there to ensure that it gets out appropriately. Jason, on email, what are some of your thoughts? That's the kind of the action step, but let's spend a couple moments here just talking about the importance of email in chiropractors' practices as we're heading into 2022.
You really have done a great job articulating it and demonstrating it. And I'll try to summarize some of the higher level understandings of email as a tool, as a tactic, as a technology, because there's no question this is a very similar to a chiropractor telling someone, we do chiropractic adjustments. And their response is, oh, well, that's cool. I do them too. Watch, crack. That's kind of the response that most chiropractors have with us when we talk about email. We're like talking about something specific, which we'll try to articulate in just a moment, a little bit deeper, which Jeff is showing you here, and I'll explain more in a moment. But typically the response is not, oh, well, what more about email do you know that I'm not aware of yet? I want to understand the gap between what I think email is and what you're describing email as. That's not how most people respond. Most people respond and go, well, I have an email address and we send emails, so that must be about the same. And I'm just saying, again, I don't mean to be repetitive, but I'm trying to make myself clear that if we say email system and you think I've already got one, then you're just like the patient going, I don't need a chiropractor. I can crack my own neck, with the assumption that all you're doing is making some noise in their neck, moving it fast. Sending an email is not the same thing as having an automated email campaign strategy that has the right messages already written for you that are personalized to go to exactly the right person on your email list, depending on how you've categorized them in the 3 phases of the new patient smart journey. That happens to be a very different thing. That's not just, look, I made a noise, look, I sent an email. That's being specific. I got the right force in the right place, in the right line of drive, at the right time, at the right speed, in order to correct the right subluxation. And I did it with the right intention. How about that? That's the way we look at the process of email, and the metaphor for those of you that are chiropractors to understand, you got options. All right. We'll say it over and over again. Most people will pop and pray and think it's good. And if it doesn't work, refer them to something outside of chiropractic. Don't agree. Sorry, but that happens all the time. So others go, I'm going to hone my craft, hone my skills. I am a teacher because I am a student. And I love to continually learn and get better at my craft and skill, both because of my natural curiosity and because of my desire to over-deliver to the people that depend on me for healthcare services and advice. If that sounds like you, then we've got work to do together. Let's roll up our sleeves and start learning and understanding the difference between cracked my neck and specific chiropractic care, like we're suggesting you learn the difference between email and automated email marketing campaigns that have monthly campaigns already written for you. And to round it all off, what Jeff was showing you just a little bit earlier reminds me of the saying, I always love the idea that everybody wants to win the lottery. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to win the lottery. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to win the lottery. But you got to get a ticket in order to be able to win the lottery. You got to be in it to win it. And the same thing here is true. If you want to be successful next year, especially if you just joined up, you've got to get your details into the system in order to, that's your ticket to be in it. If you don't get it set up, if you don't buy a ticket, there's impossible to win. And if you don't get your information into the setup phase of this program, there's no way you can win. You got to have a ticket to win. Your ticket is entering your information and getting that machine set up so that it can do what it is designed to do. That's the starting point. That's the key in the ignition. Call it what you want. That is the first place to start. You cannot go forward unless you press go. That's go.
That's it, Jason. Last year, we sent about 6 million emails that resulted in tens of thousands of clicks to chiropractors' online scheduling tools. And the only way we can do it is exactly what you just described. We have to have your information. So if you have if you're a Smart Chiropractor member, hop on over. Please rewind the video if you need to. We're going to send you emails, and of course, your implementation guides walk you through that step by step. And our support team is there for you each and every step of the way with any questions that you might have. You are well supported and well guided as part of the Smart Chiropractor. If you're not yet a Smart Chiropractor member, what are you doing? No, just kidding. But ask, if you have a coach, ask your coach about the importance of email. If you're with a program, ask them about the importance of email. I can tell you there are plenty of people out there that do email, and nobody does email like us. So if you have a trusted resource, ask them about the importance of email. If they're giving you the thumbs up, and I'm going to say, if they are hip to the game, if they know what's going on in marketing in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and beyond, they're going to say email is an integral component of it. And I can confidently say, after looking at our stats and data from last year, there's nobody that does it better than the Smart Chiropractor. And here's the beauty of it. Once you set it up, it's one of those items that can be automatic for your practice. Talk about a lifesaver, a stress saver, a time saver. It is a saver of everything. It can help build your revenue. It can help drive more new patients into your practice, improve your retention, and of course give you those consistent reactivations. I don't know another tool out there that touches all three phases in the way that email can, and it can be automatic and automated, and there's nobody that does it better than us at the Smart Chiropractor. I feel pretty darn confident saying that. As we get down towards the last segment on today's Smart Chiropractor show, we're talking business principles. This is our opportunity to talk about business. We talk some about marketing, we've talked mindset, we've talked clinical. We're talking business right now. And with the Smart Chiropractor, one of the things you're going to be hearing a lot more about is e-commerce and the concept of having a payday practice, one that creates recurring revenue for you to decrease your stress, meet those minimum viable monthly expenses. Now, we have launched very quietly over 50 Smart Care stores. These are e-commerce stores, and they allow our Smart Chiropractor members to start building recurring revenue, start to have their own payday practice. And we wanted to get a little bit practical today and really discuss for those docs that are our members, maybe you have a store right now, and some steps that you can take to really start to bolster your online sales. And before I kick it over to Jason for really, the strategy and the nuts and bolts of this, I want to say just one thing maybe, and that is this is not about selling stuff in your practice. This is about highlighting that you have an easy solution for the items your patients are already purchasing. So today we're going to talk specifically around supplements. We launched a professional grade doctor formulated basis health line. That's Jason and I and the Smart Chiropractor line of supplements. They are everyday everybody. And man, taking the time to ask your current patients where they're purchasing their supplements is the easiest place to start. Jason, that was a little bit of that was a wide and maybe a little bit of a long-winded intro. I'm going to kick it over to you to sort of tidy that up, provide some direction for our docs out there, and also give some practical tips for them to become more successful. I'm going to say with the end of this week, if they listen to what you're just about to break down.
Thank you so much. This is one of those, as I mentioned at the top of the show, very exciting technologies launching to the profession this year. We're the first to do this kind of program anywhere. It's one of the reasons we're really excited about it. Nobody's done this way before. So let's start with the mindset. Again, Jeff mentioned the payday practice. Our goal, once and for all, to make sure it's as clear as possible, is for you to be able to practice without any financial stress. Let's make sure the premise is clear. The goal is for you to practice without financial stress. So that's what I just want you to pause and imagine for a moment. We'll get into what does supplements have to do with this, but follow me, stay with me, please. What would your practice be like if you were certain that the first day of every month you generated enough monthly recurring revenue every first of the month to be able to cover all of your monthly recurring expenses? And you didn't have to worry about it. You had a next to 100% guarantee that you were going to cover all this month's recurring expenses. And you know what they are, because they're the same as last month's recurring expenses, probably the same as the month before that, and the month before that, and the month before that, and the month before that. And guess what? They'll likely be the same as next month's, and the month after that, and the month after that, and the month after that. So what if you got off the treadmill of transactions and you started building financial security? Now, I'm not talking about generating your dream top line revenue you wish you could make. I'm talking about covering your expenses so you don't have to stress out. If that sounds appealing, then let's keep the conversation going, because the way you can be guaranteeing your monthly recurring expenses to be earned each and every month in one day is to build some sort of recurring revenue opportunity to generate that amount of whatever you calculate your monthly expenses to be. Maybe that's $15,000 a month. Maybe it's $150,000 a month. It depends on if you practice in Kansas, Kentucky, New York City, San Francisco, Miami. You know where you are and what your expenses are. None of us need to know what your expenses are, but you do. Once you know what's the least amount of money that I absolutely must earn in order to not feel stressed out, the question becomes, let's say it's $15,000 for the example. What would it take to earn $50 a month from 300 people, month after month after month? Think about it. If you can know that the first day of every month, 300 people were going to say, charge my card $50 so that you generate $15,000 in the first month of every month, what would be different in your practice? How would you show up differently if you didn't have to worry about whether more new patients were going to come or not? If they did, great. If they didn't, their loss. How would it feel that you can be sure that you're making payroll, that you're paying your financial obligations to whatever loved ones depend on you, that you're able to, in fact, invest or save and have confidence in your future because you've strategically, intelligently figured out what you must earn every month, and you're focused on what you must earn every month. Because the people that I have found to be able to earn the most money are the people who happen to need it the least. Think about that for a moment. That's the joke in the banking industry. The only people that can get loans are the people that don't need loans, but they get them and use it to make even more money. So think about where you want to be in that whole equation. If you want to be like most chiropractors have been and continue to be on, then you'll be on that roller coaster every single month, where the first of the month you go back to zero in collections, and you hope and pray that there's enough new patients that come in and not enough old patients that leave, that you've got more money than month. So all that said, that is context to supplements. Why? Because we have found that through the Smart Care stores and the Basis Health supplements that are strategically and exclusively designed to be everybody, everyday supplements, what that means is that the new way of thinking about supplements is no longer that high-tech muscle testing. If you've got this, you take that type of approach. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, saying that's completely different than what we're talking about here today. What we're talking about here today is asking your patients, do an experiment. Ask your patients, take a day, take 2 days, take a week, and just experiment by asking your patients throughout the day. Maybe you want to give a survey at the front counter. Maybe you want to do table talk. Maybe you want to make sure somebody's at the front desk to make sure they ask everybody. But whatever way you want is appropriate. Ask your people, do they take any type of daily supplement? If so, what? If so, where do they get it? If so, why do they get it there? If so, how much do they pay? Are they comfortable paying that amount? Would they pay more for something better? Learn what your people are doing and would be doing if they had other opportunities. That's what teaching and inviting is all about. So you could be, once you learn that information, you hopefully will learn something. You may learn that a high percentage of your practice is taking some sort of multivitamin or green that they're buying from some sort of big box store or online Amazonian website. And sometimes they remember, sometimes they forget. It's not uncommon that they buy a couple bottles, they take them all, they forget to take them again or order them again, or don't want to buy another bottle, so they stop, they fall out of routine, etc. Learn what your people are already doing. And find out that once you learn that, if there's something you might be able to offer them that would be better than what they're doing right now. And we think it sounds something like this. If I was in active practice right now, and the doctors that we coach and consult with right now have all been thinking this new same way, that they understand that the new philosophy is that people come to you not for adjustments, they come to you for advice. Now, if your advice happens to be you should receive adjustments, then they're coming for adjustments. But they're not coming for adjustments, they're coming for your advice. They're coming because they are trusting that you are going to direct them to their goals, their outcomes, the things that they want to get out of their experience with you. So if people are coming to you to be healthier, and people know that they need to be taking supplements, they know that you are an educated expert that they're looking to for direction, would it not be appropriate to all at that same time, in that beautiful context, answer the question that you always often get? Hey, doc, should I be taking something? What do you think I should be taking? What's your favorite thing to take? And that's the magic question, because what the Smart Care store is all about is providing smart options. Smart in our language means curated. So instead of doing what, chiropractors currently do, one, you manually try to sell stuff in your practice and you find that it is a money-losing proposition 99 out of 100 times. I know one of you is going to say, no, I make a lot of money doing it, and I know there's exceptions to what I said. That is not most people most of the time. So if you want to understand how to build recurring revenue, then think about, what if people asked you what your favorite things are? And what if you went above and beyond and said, I would be happy to have my favorite supplement drop shipped to your home month after month after month until you say stop, for your convenience, so that you never forget to reorder and you don't have to go out to a store or order something, and you can be assured you're getting my favorite thing. That sounds pretty rational to me. In fact, it sounds pretty generous to me. It actually sounds like something patients might have been waiting for you to show up and offer them for as long as they can remember. And many of you have tried, including myself. And the reality, to just put this all together and wrap it up, is that this has never been possible to do this way until now. And it's all because of automation and technology. The idea is not a new idea. Being able to do it automatically, practically, effortlessly is revolutionary. And that's what we're offering. That's what this package is all about. So a long-winded, hopefully contextual way of saying, start learning if your patients are taking supplements. What are they taking? And I don't mean all kinds of supplements. Again, everybody, everyday supplements. Doesn't matter if you take something for your knee pain, your arthritis, your cholesterol, your whatever it is. We're not talking about treatment supplements. We are only talking about proactive, everybody, everyday supplements, which by definition, by our definition, means supplements that anybody can take every day because it's good for them. Vitamin D is a good example. Morning greens is a good example. Daily multivitamin is a good example, and on and on and on. You're the doctor. You make the choice as to what maybe you take on a daily basis, or what you know other people should take on a daily basis, and give Basis Health brand a try. Because our Basis Health brand works in our Smart Care store system. And that system works with our Smart Chiropractor marketing and communication program. So the automation for all of this, you'll start to see hopefully the genius in the Smart Chiropractor, is that since we are already building the communication to your patients, and we are the ones creating and in fact sharing or delivering through email, through social, through in-office video streaming to your patients, what if we also added the extra benefit of sharing your favorite everybody everyday supplement in that informational promotion? And we also just so happen to include the single link to your store for your people to buy your favorite product in your store, so we can deposit the profit into your bank account. And if you'll follow our system in time, maybe weeks, maybe years, maybe never, depending on your effort, but if you follow the system, you too can find that within a matter of time, if you put forth some effort, you will be able to generate your monthly recurring revenue in one day, guaranteed. That's how it works.
That is such fantastic advice, Jason, and thank you for framing that out in a way that I think everybody can really understand what we're trying to accomplish with our Smart Care store system, how it integrates with the Smart Chiropractor, and the benefits it can provide pretty much every single chiropractor out there, and the action steps that they can take. I know, again, we have over 50 of our Smart Care stores live as of right now, and we're going to encourage all of our docs. Jason broke down exactly these automations where we are helping you generate marketing and sales. But if you want to see that hockey stick growth, if you want to really ramp things up, you don't have to become a salesman or a saleswoman. All we're going to ask you to do is ensure it's take today, take tomorrow, take this week, and ask your patients, hey, what do you take each and every day for your health? What are those supplements you take and where do you get it? And I have a sneaking suspicion you will find a handful, 2 handfuls, maybe 4 handfuls that say, I know I should be taking something. What should I take, doc? Do you have any recommendations? Or I used to take this, but I stopped, and you know what? I should start that again. All of these are fantastic opportunities for you just to say, hey, we have some of my favorites available right now as bundles in my Smart Care store. Front desk will get you that QR code and get you that link. You can hop on, no inventory. We ship them right to your door, and they are what I take myself and what I think is best for you. So whatever those items are, you're going to be able to find those in our Smart Care store, whether it's with our Basis Health Supplement line, which are doctor formulated, professional grade, only available through chiropractors, or whether you want to add on any of the 5,000 additional products available for dropship, no inventory right now in the Smart Care store system. That's totally your choice. But the bottom line is you have over 5,000 opportunities to get out there, to teach and invite, and to ask your patients about the products and services that they are already utilizing and help guide them towards the best options for them. So that's been our business principles segment. Jason, I'm going to bring us on split screen here as we close up and wrap up today's episode. This has been the first episode of 2022. It's also the first one that we are multi-streaming across multiple different channels. So thank you so much for tuning in. I took a quick look on there. So we have a couple updates we can make behind the scenes to ensure that our descriptions and everything else are completely dialed in. So as you come in each and every Tuesday, you'll know where we're at, what we're talking about, and you will know what are those high impact segments that you can't miss this week. Now, if you do miss any segments, you can find them on our YouTube channel. We are, again, finishing up that process where each and every week we will have each episode in its entirety, as well as each segment broken out on the Smart Chiropractor YouTube channel. And if you are watching this and you're not in the Smart Chiropractor Facebook group, that's a place where a lot of stuff goes down. And what do I mean by stuff? I mean additional clinical conversations, colleagues helping other colleagues out is a fantastic place to be, to learn, to interact, to engage. And it is where we hang out each and every day. So Jason, as we wrap up this episode, what are some of your closing thoughts as we wrap up January 4th, 2022 Smart Chiropractor Show?
Closing thoughts are very simply, welcome to 2022, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I hope you're happy to be here. And I hope we can work together in this year in some fashion or format. And I really mean it. Whether you just follow us, you sign up to watch and tune in every Tuesday to tune up your practice and your life, great. Watch. Don't give us a penny. Steal our ideas. Don't resell them, but use them. Okay? We're here to be of service, and we are excited to go next level with everything we're doing because we took a few years to build what we are now launching. And we are ready to start getting very loud and proud and excited about what we've been spending years doing and building. Now, many of you have been going, wow, you've been doing a great job. I see what you do. Well, wait till you see what you haven't seen yet. That's why we are as fired up as we are. In the insane pandemic world we're living in, Jeff, myself, and our team, and those who have been working with us early on in the projects we're launching are fired up because we hit the nail on the head here. So now our biggest challenge is going to be sharing, teaching, and inviting all of you how to get into the conversation, how to learn more, and if you want to take some action after what you've learned, invite you to stay with us. And we'll be doing that consistently. And This show is a perfect example of that. So I invite you to learn with us. I invite you to play with us. I invite you to work with us, to train with us, and put yourself in one of two categories. We have clients we work with who either live in the set it and forget it, I'll pay you, your job is to do what I don't want to do, and that's why I'm paying you. And we got hundreds of clients just like that. We also have hundreds of clients who are on the other end of the spectrum, which are like Cardinali earlier. I love teaching people. I hate all the preparation work it takes to make sure I can do it and do it right. So either I'm paying somebody to do it for me, or more likely than not, I'm not doing it and I'm wishing I was. And if you're that kind of person, then this is our lucky day and this is our year. Let's work together. Use our materials to share our message with your people. Use these technologies. Lean in and be curious. Ask questions. I promise you don't know what you think we are doing unless you've heard us explain it. So, just like saying I'm a chiropractor, and even other chiropractors go, I know what you do. No, you don't. That's how this works. So I'm fired up. We're going to get crazy this year, and I mean that in a positive way. We are going to sort of pull out the stops, and we're going to let our freak flag fly. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is what we offer. This is what we're teaching. We call it the Smart Chiropractor without trying to insult anyone, because we think if you join us, you're smart. And I'll dare say if you don't, you're not. And that's just kind of the way we sort of see it. No different than if you want to deny that chiropractic is a good thing for whatever foolish reasons you have. Not so smart. All right, that's my take on this year. Jeff, how about yourself?
I could not agree more. I am super jazzed up for what we have in store throughout the year. Thank you for tuning in and listening and being engaged with this show. If you're not yet in the Smart Chiropractor group, hop on over, request access. We have a couple questions to ensure that we keep the quality of the group super high, and it is loaded with other chiropractors helping each other out. And this entire show has been brought to you by the Smart Chiropractor. If you would like to increase your new patients, improve your retention, and get that flywheel of reactivations going without spending any money on advertising. Yes, you heard that correct. Head over to the smartchiropractor.com. Join hundreds of other docs reaching tens of millions of people next year, this year, and the years beyond as well. Getting out there, teaching and inviting, showcasing the benefits of who we are and what we do, and ultimately helping your community be healthier. And now we're extending even beyond that circle of practice. So we're going to have a lot of fun in the process. I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid for Dr. Jason Deitch and our entire Smart Chiropractor team. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you next week on the Smart Chiropractor Show. Bye-bye. Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor. We are posting videos on how you can market your chiropractic practice in a way that teach and invites consistently. We have found that is the magic formula to big time growth. So if you like this video, be sure to comment down below, smash that subscribe button, or visit us at thesmartchiropractor.com.